This is Brian Kwong, MVP from Winter 13 and Winter 14. The Three Tenors, with Pavarotti count as a boy band? That's probably the closest I could have for a favorite.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Deepa.
Helps to unmute myself. Hi, this is Deepa Patel, a Salesforce MVP and a Silicon Valley User Group co-leader. I'm not so sure that I have any favorite boy band, but if I were to quote any of the bands, and I'm going to age myself, it would be the Eagles and U2.
Okay. Marty.
Hey everyone, this is Marty Chang. I would have to say that my favorite boy band is Backstreet Boys as well. They also prove that you can be called a boy even when you're 30 or going on 40. So hopefully that means we all get to live forever.
Great. Okay, Matt.
Hey everybody, it's Matt Bertuzzi. I'd say either the Monkees or the Cure.
Cure was a boy band? Okay.
They were quite young when they started.
A goth boy band.
Okay, Steve, you go for it.
I got to represent my hometown, and I got to go old school. I'm going to say New Edition.
Okay, going old school. Did I miss any of the MVPs?
Don Robbins, Force.com MVP.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm going to date myself here, and I don't know if they'd be considered a boy band, but it was John Coltrane Quintet, and that was a few decades ago.
Okay. Anybody else I missed?
I just joined. I didn't catch the question.
Okay. And again, my name is Bill Greenhaw. Summer 13, we're not there yet, MVP, and I'm going to have to name myself too. I'm going to have to go Menudo. Okay, so we'll go over a couple of the ground rules. Please keep your system muted unless you have a question or if you're actually answering one of the questions will help. If you do have a question in the Ready Talk, there's a raise your hand low button. Click that, and you can kind of write a little short summary of what your question will be. So my first time running this, so hopefully I kind of get to everybody. If nobody's asking a question, I'm going to kind of play the mean teacher and start picking on people randomly in the room. And if I miss you, like raising a hand, just kind of jump in when it's quiet and we can get your question answered. Okay, so let's go. First question out there. Who's it going to be? Nobody? Okay, so I'm going to have to start picking on people here.
I'm going to see if we get any from the chatter group.
The chatter group? Oh, collaboration group?
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, Mike Street asked, there should be a phone number when you got your Ready Talk confirmation that you can call into with a code specific for you if you need that. Okay, so I'm going to just randomly pick somebody here. Tara, do you have any questions, Tara?
I totally knew you were going to call my name. No, I really don't. I'm just listening in because you guys are cool to follow on Twitter, and I want to learn more stuff.
Okay. I'm going to pick somebody else. Eric. Oh, he said don't pick him. Never mind. Gary.
Hello?
Oh, yes. Who is that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Your mass email capabilities, I notice it's 250 max. Do you anticipate that, maybe this isn't an appropriate question, do you anticipate that getting larger down the road?
I'll jump in. I'll jump in. You can call Salesforce and ask for that to be increased.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just keep in mind, just so everybody on this call knows, Salesforce MVPs are made up of end users and partners. None of us are Salesforce.com employees. There's actually no even Salesforce employees on the phone. So we're just end users mainly like everybody else, and we don't kind of know any inside information everybody else doesn't know. My understanding from what I've seen, I don't think they're going to be increasing that, but you could talk to your account rep, executive, and kind of give your scenario, and you could possibly get that increase.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And this, Steve, yeah, I mean, sometimes as MVPs we are privy to stuff like that, but it's also under like super secret non-disclosure agreement, so even if it was, we wouldn't be allowed to discuss it. I would say, though, that for a fair number of the limitations that are like, if you go into the online help and training, there's actually like a list of like edition by edition how many of type of field you can have, how many type of object you can have, things like that. A lot of those limits can be raised, but what they'll usually do, or it probably depends on feature by feature, they make you sign something that basically says, I understand that by asking to do this, it could have a performance impact on my org.
Okay.
Like some of the, it depends. It varies from limitation to limitation, but some of them have been set because they've kind of like optimized the org, or that's like the optimal org settings.
Got
So
it. Good to know.
just be mindful. I mean,
Yeah. Our main reason is we're tired of managing a Outlook user list, and so we know active users in Salesforce. We can create a view for that, and we're hoping to be able to select. Right now, we're under the limit, but to use that function, we want to make sure that next year we don't max out to 250.
Yeah, keep in mind that, Salesforce doesn't try to be a mass email tool. There's third-party products that can take care of that using your Salesforce.com contacts. If you go to appexchange.com or appexchange.salesforce.com and just search for mass email or email campaigns, you'll find quite a few third-party products that will do as much as you need.
Yeah, I would say probably mass email and probably data hygiene are probably two of the most, lucrative spaces on the App Exchange. You probably have more range of choices in those two areas on the App Exchange than some of the more niche-oriented stuff.
Yeah, including one that was just purchased by Salesforce for a whole boatload of money. So the exact target would be the preferred direction, at least in theory.
Okay, thank you.
And keep in mind, too, I was going to just add to that. Just keep in mind, too, that you can, if you don't need email to go out all at the same time, you can schedule those 250. I know we have a 500 limit, and I've scheduled them at the same time, and they just go out day by day by day.
Okay. Yeah, this is strictly, we're just building a user list. Not, it's not for external.
Oh,
okay.
So like using the mass email users. So if you want to send a blast saying first thing Monday morning, every user gets an email alert saying update your sales pipeline for the Friday reports.
Yes, exactly.
Get your timesheets in. I don't know if there is I've got over 250 users, and I use the email blast every week. For that exact reason, we have a pipeline report that gets run on Thursday at noon, and on Monday, I send an email alert to everyone with an embedded link to that person's open opportunities, and it basically says, click this link, look at the report. If the information is accurate, you're good to go. If you look at this report and it's not accurate, the opportunity amounts need to be changed, the close date needs to be changed.
Somebody mute their line.
Start the party.
Somebody put us on hold.
I didn't bring my glow stick, guys. You didn't tell me that we were going to have a raid.
Or was that somebody chiming in late with their favorite boy band?
That was a terrible boy band.
I think I muted him.
So the other thing, other than emailing, there is a mass email users function.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Mass email users function. I don't think that has that's like considered a mass. The mass email limits. My understanding is that most of them are related to marketing emails that are launched from Salesforce and distributed to contacts or leads. Mass email users, I'm not aware of any limitation on that.
Well, in test today, we played with it, and it did. That's how I got the number 250. Without putting a filter on the view, it popped up and said maximum 250 in red.
I will suggest
Maybe production's not like that now. Maybe it's because we were in test, a full test org, maybe.
Were you in Sandbox?
Correct, a full Sandbox.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why that would matter, though.
They might, because you could use it to possibly spam people, because you can create more users in your Sandbox that aren't your real users.
Okay, so we'll have to...
Maybe, I don't know, that's a question to find out. That's a good one for us to even test. Maybe some of the MVPs can test.
Okay.
But,
hi, this is Susan. I was just actually looking in the limit quick reference guide, and on page 35 it says you can send an unlimited amount of email to your organization's internal users, which include portal users.
Great.
Okay.
So it's a Sandbox limitation.
Perhaps it's a Sandbox thing then. Great, thank you.
Oh, I'm actually... I went and tried this in my org. There is a limitation.
Double check that, because I only send clicks. I have one list view. It's got over 250 users. And I just click once, and I get a confirmation email that says that it was sent to like 280 people.
Your limit might be 500, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on an unlimited edition. It's telling me 250.
Yeah, I have the default view in Pride, and I click Go, and it comes up, and all I did was click Go to show me, and it says you exceeded the maximum. It won't even show me the user list.
Okay, I think this is something it's a good question. A couple of us could take offline and look well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good one for us to all look at. Okay, so the next question here, there's actually two people with their hand raised. We'll go with Karen first.
Oh, thank you. So I'm looking to embed a geo chart in my dashboards, and I know we can do that with Visualforce, but I'm not a developer, and I'm looking for the code, and I looked at a couple of sites trying to figure out how to do this on my own. Is there any easy way to create a geo chart? Just to be able to capture information in Salesforce and put it in a dashboard so that it shows real time if you refresh.
So you mean like a chat with a map of the?
Yeah.
US?
For example, somebody who's got the East of America, and you want to show all what the market segment breakdown of that is.
I did a presentation at Dreamforce a couple of years ago, and on the panel was a guy named Mark Epperson, and he works for Salesforce, and he did a whole presentation about using Google Charts and Salesforce, and it was amazing, and he's like scary smart, but the best thing is he explained it step by step. And the video is out on YouTube.
Yes, and I've seen that. I've seen that. Actually, I used that to put a pie chart in the account object. It was tricky, but I did a whole bunch of formula fields and put them in the account. And I used that video to do it, to go through it, and I did it, and it worked fine. And then they came up with putting charts in there already, and I was like, yee-hee, that's a lot easier. So but GeoCharts are a little bit different, and I'm wondering, maybe they aren't. Maybe I'm just thinking they're more complicated.
I think, sorry, this is Marty. I think without having the exact code to share, one of the places where you might want to look at is the Developer Force Wiki, which does have a section dedicated to Google visualizations.
Okay.
So I can, I'll post that URL to the ReadyTalk chat, and maybe you can take a look at that to see if it helps you.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, and I'm just trying to. It's pretty simple, and I know they have some great apps out there for analytics, map analytics, but they also come with, user. They're good for users too, to map out their proximity, accounts when they go do visits. There's some good paid apps out there for that. I understand that, and we may very well go that direction, but just for sticking it in as a visual force page in a dashboard, that's what I'm looking for right now. So I'll check that out.
Yeah, you may want to take a look at the apps simply because the only way I'm aware of doing that is using the Google Maps API. And starting February 1st, tomorrow, you have to have a business license for the Google Maps API if you're using it as a company.
I know. That's one reason. And then exactly, it's one reason I'm actually looking at the apps right now, all the map apps. But I don't see any of them as visual force pages that I can stick into a dashboard. They're great to just use for analytics. They're maps, they're actual maps, but to stick it into a dashboard chart, that's what I'm looking for. So I'll check that out. I'll check the wiki out.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm actually posting out in the chat right now for Marty, so everybody sees that is the link to the Developer Force wiki page that talks about Google visualization. So if everybody looks at their chat that's interested, there's the link.
Was that Steve? Sorry, was that
ahead.
Steve Moe? No, I just wanted to know if that was Steve Moe talking to me.
Marty Chang's the one that shared that information.
Okay, thanks.
This is Steve Moe. I was on the panel with Mark Epperson at Formula.
No, you were, and you actually gave me that link about a year ago, so I got that. But yeah, no, you did. You're actually very helpful to everybody, so we all love you.
Steve, someone said you were actually helpful.
I was going to this date in history. Steve and the word helpful were used in the same sentence.
Okay, so I do apologize. Instead of just lowering Karen's hand, I hit lower all, and I know one other person had their hand raised. So whoever that was, if you just raise your hand again, sorry about that. Okay, we got somebody. I'm sorry, not going to pronounce the name. Is it Georgi?
It's Georgi.
Georgi, sorry about that. Okay, yes, go ahead with your question.
So, hello everyone, Georgi Gilovani here from Transocean. First time using this, but hopefully it'll come to use. We're looking for solutions that would be close to the functionality of Newsreel for documents posted on Salesforce. We just rolled out Chatter within our org. Being in oil and gas, we were sort of the slow elephant. The issue is that we want to, instead of using the Chatter feed, which only if you post a file, it maybe displays on the home page when you first log in, maybe first 3 files that were recently posted. We want to have like a summary of each day. Here's the date. Here are the files that were posted, which are referenced directly into the libraries. Currently, we do post the files and manually update an HTML component on the very front page of the Salesforce logging page, and it takes some time to post all the files, tag them appropriately, and then edit the HTML files for all the content and intel sharing. Salesforce does not currently support the tags, to be able to transfer from the libraries into the Chatter, so topics are different from tags. So that's something that we're trying to figure out how to work around. But in general, it's just trying to post some things in a newsreel style. It would just people log in and automatically post the fact that we've uploaded a file. I don't know if there's solutions available, but hopefully you guys will be able to help out.
This is Marty. Can you, when you say newsreel, do you mean like a live feed?
It's okay. So currently we just have like a static HTML. It says market resources, the date, and then the the source of the content, and then maybe the description. So let's just say Shell annual report, and posted from January 28th or something like that. And then we have several underneath that are from previous postings. And we do those manually. But if we were able to update a file or upload a file, and it automatically captures the fact that we've put one in on this date with this kind of file name, and that's the kind of newsreel that I'm talking about.
So if you update, so basically you want what's presented to be dynamic.
Just in a sense, automated. So I don't have to post it myself. I just wanted to drop in an appropriate folder. Currently, the link that we post in HTML, we basically put a link, and it brings the person directly to the content where it was posted. So in a specific library, in a specific folder.
Yeah.
And you can see multiple ones. Like you can get a good snapshot of what's been posted in the last 2 weeks, because there's maybe 5 inches by, in terms of height, and maybe by 7 inches in width, the area of the box where all the content shows up for different dates. And after a while we remove them, but all of that is manually edited by an administrator. We want to be able to share content and automatically upload it, and it shows up as, hey, by the way, here's a new file. And the reason why Chatter feed is not something that we're able to resolve this with, because first we have to create a market intel group, and we drop in everybody in there. They get emails. We want to disable those. We want to be able to tag it into the library, but the same tags are not equivalent to the same topics. And so we're trying to figure out a workaround, and so far nobody was able to come up with any genius ideas.
Well, I can't, I think I don't have, definitely not a genius idea for you. I think one of the things that you might consider doing, if it is something that you want to keep on the home page and you generally like the home page layout there, you could, because you can create a custom HTML component, you could use the JavaScript API or the JavaScript library to bring in that information, so you don't have to recreate it every time.
So it's a JavaScript component?
Right. So it's technically an HTML component, but I believe you're allowed to put JavaScript in there.
Okay. So does that necessitate like a custom object that draws that, or how would you implement that?
So you would create so right now you're using the homepage layout, and you're able to add custom components to your homepage layout in the form of links, images, or HTML areas, right?
Okay.
So let me just try this real quick to see if I'm not 100% sure. We customize a lot of times the home tab itself by introducing Visualforce there, but I don't think that's what you're looking to do in this case. So let me just dig into that a little bit, and I'll get back to you via chat before the call is up, so I don't hold up other people.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay, and don't mean to go back a little bit, but I missed a comment from the earlier discussion from Tara, and she made a point is from trying to mass email the users, she was just bringing up a point that she has over 700 users and she's Chatter to communicate with them. So if you do have any limitations on like the list views and trying to go above that 250, you can try to set up a Chatter, with all employees group or something, and use that maybe possibly as a communication as well. Okay, I think, Mike, did you have a question about the desktop app?
Yeah, just as an administrator dealing with 250 or so people, we've pushed that out in images to laptops and whatnot, and just wondering what success somebody might have had keeping those up to date and relevant on their versions. Other than manually doing them all.
Any IT MVP kind of out there want to try to tackle this one?
This is Tom. I'm not an MVP, but we recently actually just worked with we managed services for our IT, and so there are tools out there like Kaseya or other, even what's the Microsoft version, but there's various tools out there that allow you to sort of package up sort of changes and push them out. And I don't know, are your laptops locked down? Are they locked down? Are your users just standard users and not admin users?
Correct.
Yeah, so tools like Kaseya and the place we went with, they use a tool called LabTech, and it's basically you can push out any software. You package it up and you push out updates. Hello?
Yeah, another one.
It pushes it out, and it can use group policies. So, and some of these tools are compatible with Macs and Windows machines. But that's kind of a whole nother solution. We had the same problem. Adobe AI Air and all the Adobe things are constantly updating and constantly being patched for security reasons. So really, it's kind of looking at a bigger piece of how to manage your endpoints when you're going that way.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and if you're a Microsoft shop too, there's a Microsoft built on. It's not part of Windows Server, but built on Windows Server.
Yeah, they have SCCM, and then they have I can't remember what the new cloud offering is. They have a cloud offering for that now. The name escapes me. Microsoft has had many different versions, but SCCM, that was what it was called at one point.
That's what it is now, I believe, too. Not the cloud, but the on-premise version.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I was just looking for a good place to start on search and learning.
Yeah, just look for endpoint management.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, anybody else have a question? Raise your hand in the Ready Talk, or again, I'll have to be a mean teacher and start randomly picking on people. Okay, I'm going to just randomly pick on a name here, see who I get. Reed, do you have a question? Okay, no Reed. How about Nancy?
No.
Okay. Mike, did you have another question? I see your hand raised now, or was that from earlier?
No, yeah, it's a different one.
Okay, go ahead then.
We're about to go through a lift and shift from one org to another. We got purchased, and just wanted to hear anybody's feedback on pitfalls, landmines, things that Joe might have done before, run into, things to look at in terms of risk management, kind of thoughts on that kind of a project.
I'm sorry, did I hear you correctly? You're merging two orgs together?
Actually separating two orgs.
Separating two orgs.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
What was the question again?
Best practices when dealing with separating an org into two separate orgs. So you have an org that you're using for Salesforce right now because you got bought out. You're looking at taking the data from that and basically putting it into a different org.
Yeah, it's not the data so much because that's fairly standard stuff, but it's the development. We use
the metadata stuff.
Yeah, we use it as a platform, so we've built a lot of our own stuff.
This is Steve. One thing as far as the data goes that you may need to be mindful of. It really depends on what your data is and how you use it. You would want to make sure that when you onboard it onto the new org, that you submit a case with Salesforce that you preserve the original create and last modified date. Because by default, those are used for auditing and security purposes to see the last time somebody touched a record. So normally you can't force a date value into it. Salesforce generates that when the record is created or modified.
Correct.
But where you're moving historical data you might want to know, like, when was this account record or opportunity record really created, not just created on this new instance of Salesforce. So it's very easy to do, but there is a process. You need to log a case with Salesforce, and what they'll do, you basically, give them your time that you plan to onboard your data, and they basically make those fields editable for that time, and then they shut it off, and they revert back to their native behavior of being system date time fields. It's not an open-ended proposition. Although I imagine if you have a legitimate case, like you acquire another company and they have data on a system that you want to onboard, you could open up another case, and then I'm sure that if you got a legit case, I'm sure that they would accommodate you. But that's, as far as the data goes, that would be my big one. The other thing would be like stuff like formulas, validation rules, workflow rules, processes that maybe are owned by a user who's not going to come over.
The one thing I'm going to suggest is you make sure that, like, I don't know, do you guys use Google Docs? It's so important to document, what is going to get split up between the two orgs and what's going to be a common theme. Like if there are different business processes, which process is going to go to which org and which process is going to go to which org, who's going to be responsible for it. Because remember, it's also which users are going to be inactive, which users are going to be active in different orgs. It's all about their records, what kind of reports are they running. So you really have to document everything that's in the current org right now, and then how is it going to split? And when it splits, how is it going to impact your core business processes? It's not just about the core data. It's also how you've set things up in Salesforce currently, and how is it going to get split up between the different orgs? And will you need to recreate anything, like just because the user, especially if you have reports with running users and things like that, you really have to dig deep into making sure you thoroughly document everything that's in place right now and where is it going to go, and how you're going to deal with things that are going to break because of that splitting.
Excellent. Thanks.
And I would just, it sounds like this could be a big project for you. Just, going on what Eva said, there's tools out there that can help you with some of the metadata too. If you go to AppExchange and just search for metadata or, similar terms like schema and stuff like that, there's tools out there and a lot of free ones that could help you analyze your org even, more to document. There's some paid tools that are going to kind of document all of your metadata for you.
Sure.
So, how depending on the size of the project, that might be worth taking a look at those.
Right. Yeah, so the development stuff is probably the more scary. Yeah. So if we can get that to at least pull out and categorize it, that'd be awesome. Thanks.
All right. Okay, so nobody else has their hand raised. I'll give it, 30 seconds here or something to see if anybody else has a question. Jump in. Just, again, go in the Ready Talk and raise your hand. Or I'm going to pick on somebody here again. So
either we're going to stop picking on people, or we're just going to start giving random advice that may or may not be true. Like, I hear workflow rules are going to be available in group edition.
Steve, are you pulling your 8-ball now?
Damn it, I forgot the magic 8-ball.
Okay, so before we get into that, I'll randomly pick a few more. Victor, do you have anything, Victor? Any questions?
I don't.
Please. Can somebody tell me a Boston phrase real quick? Somebody?
A Boston phrase?
I know.
Steve loves to say "caw."
Yeah. But, does anybody know where I can find a place to park the car in Harvard Yard so I can go to Dunkin' Donuts, get a Krella?
You need a soda?
Very good. Thank you for that, Victor. Bruno, do you have a question?
Yeah, if I'm being picked on, I might as well ask one or two small, short ones. Thanks to the MVPs and everybody on this call. It's very useful as usual. Forecasts. I know Salesforce has different forecasting, customizable. They've got the classic, and now they've got the collaborative that they're going towards. But I consult for different companies now and then, and when I get into certain orgs, you get a different flavor. I'm just wondering, is it easy to just contact Salesforce and say we'd like to be on the latest version of Forecast, or is it tied to whatever you happen to have in your org pretty well there?
You have to really go through and evaluate what is going to change when you go to the new collaborative forecast, because remember you might have done, like the orgs might have done a lot of customization around the old collaborative customizable forecasting, and how is this going to impact collaborative? Because remember, the customizable forecasting, the stages and the forecast categories, like the numbers were overlapping, and if somebody has done anything customized on that, you really have to look at how is it going to be different when you incorporate collaborative forecasting. Like I've got a few clients where they've gone in and they've developed custom fields within the opportunity object to capture a lot that they wanted to capture because of the limitations or overlapping of numbers in the customizable forecasting. And now that they're used to that and they're doing a lot of number crunching because of that, you really have to look at the impact of when you move them to collaborative forecasting.
Yeah.
Will you still be able to give them the same view that they had before, or what will you need to recreate when you move to the collaborative forecasting? I know that.
That's a fantastic response, and you're right. I'm assuming that customers that I've seen have not been using it. So it's free realm. I can move them into the newer forecasting if I want. They just upload quotas and whatnot. So I know what you're saying, and that's great. I'm kind of referring to if it's carte blanche.
It's a ticket.
It's just a ticket, and then you're up to the latest and greatest? Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
With the exception if they have new features for their pilot, you won't be included unless you're also part of the pilot.
Right, okay. Yeah, if it's something new like that, like the new version that's coming out in spring. Okay.
I guess I misunderstood your question.
No, it's great. I expected that as well. That's great, but it intended to be just a simpler approach. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
This is Tara, and if I could chime in real quick. With our org, we did have problems. We wanted to use collaborative forecasting, but we were stuck with customizable forecasting because we had a custom fiscal year, and I forget exactly what the conflict was, but for some reason we couldn't switch our org over to the newest version of forecasting.
Because of the custom fiscal. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Sure.
Okay. Again, before I pick on somebody else, does anybody thought of anything you want to jump in?
I think we also had, when we did it, we had to make changes in the quota tables. I think it had to be migrated out and then migrated back in somehow. I wasn't involved with it, but that's another thing that has to be put in your plan if you do end up moving from one to the other.
Also, you have to look at the impact of what's going to get deleted, and because when you do move from collaborative to from customizable to collaborative, there's certain history records that go away, and Salesforce has that all listed. If you look at the documentation, I believe it's on the help and training documentation, which tells you what's going to be impacted when you move to the collaborative forecasting. So make sure you have that conversation with the customers when you're talking to them as well.
Great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to kind of go down the list here. Christine, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Dennis?
No, I'm a brand new certified Salesforce guy here, just listening in. Quite frankly, a lot of this is over my head, but it's all good. Thanks.
Okay, well, it won't be long. It's easy. Check out help.salesforce.com. Lots of tutorials and videos out there. You're good. Go down the list here. Don?
If you're referring to Don Robbins, that's me. I'm a Force.com MVP. I'm just on in case I might be able to help with any developer-related questions. I'm also a certified training instructor. So if anyone's any questions in that realm, I'm happy to answer.
Gary? Okay. Heather?
Don't have any today. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
I have a
going
question.
down the list here. Heidi.
I have another question if no one's wanting to ask.
Okay, jump in if you got something.
Is there any plan that will allow us to report across multiple child objects? So, for example, you have an account and you have contacts. And on the opportunity side, you have opportunities and some custom object or not, a built-in object, standard object. I had to use exports of the two, the child of the account and the child of the opportunity, and pull them into Access and pull them all together to get a holistic spreadsheet. Now, of course, there's multiples because of the scenario, but is there any way to do that in Salesforce? I know they have Join, but it doesn't seem to give me that capability.
Conga. Conga is a great tool for things like that.
What is it called?
Conga, C-O-N-G-A.
C-O-N.
So what they do is they allow you to run independent reports, or you can run SQL queries, and then you bring that data down into an Excel spreadsheet. I mean, they use that in the background. You don't even have to, like end users don't even need to know that that's what they're doing. And then you bring that data together in presentable form, and you can click on a button, and the output can be generated into like an Excel, PDF, Word, I believe in HTML. Like you can have different outputs based on what you want to do. You can also use Conga Conductor to schedule those and email those out. It's a fantastic, fantastic tool.
And you said it's C-O-M-G-A?
Yeah, C-O-N-G-A. Go look them up on the App Exchange.
C-O-N. Nancy?
Yeah, C for Charlie.
Just like the drum, just like a conga drum.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
And Conga is the name of the company. They make several products. I think.
Actually, the name is App Extremes. That's a company name. But they have the Conga Composer. They have the Conga Conductor. They have a lot. And by the way, we did a presentation at Dreamforce. If you go look on YouTube for Dreamforce 2013, there's a presentation there by 3 MVPs, Gary Pottermere, oh my God, I'm forget Judy Shawn, and myself. There were 3 of us who did a presentation. So if you go look at that, that'll give you an idea of the basics at the core, how easy it is to set up Conga, and then we go talk about different scenarios in different environments, how Conga is used. So if you look at that, that'll help you. And then they give you a 30-day trial. So, you know, you have 30 days to try it out, and you can put it in your sandbox and use it, you know. And their support is fantastic. I mean, extremely fantastic support.
Okay. I do have another question if no one else is going to take the floor. I definitely
go for it.
That's great. Please do so, because I was going to have Brian sing some boy band songs if nobody else did.
I don't know if anyone else has this experience, but like someone's a full licensed user and they move out of the department, but they still like to use the Chatter, or vice versa, from Chatter to full license. What is the norm for doing that action? Do you just change the license, or do you disable that user and then create them again?
So it depends on the direction that you're going. If you're going from a Chatter free to a full license, you can do that by simply changing the license on the user, but you can't go backwards. So if you have someone who's currently a full license and they no longer need the access, but you need to keep them Chatter, you have to deactivate their full license user and recreate that person with the chatter free, which means that anything that they did as a full license is now going to be completely disassociated to their new chatter free license, which includes all the records that they had access to and any chat posts that they made.
Okay, thank you.
Now, this is Steve. There is one interim license that called the Chatter Plus. That's it's not free, but the price point is it lists at $15 a month.
Is that the one behind the scenes they call it like CSN only or something?
There's a couple different names of it. It depends on kind of what your account's at and what they're feeling like.
Now, I don't know if you can go if you can make the drop down from full to Chatter Plus, but it's a possibility. It might.
I'm going to check that right now.
Yeah.
While you guys talk.
You couldn't on the Force One license. Force One.
Yeah, and I actually just recently did that when I went to Enterprise. This is Brendan. I was originally in Professional, and originally I was going to have all of the Salesforce license, most of the Salesforce licenses go to Chatter Plus, and they wouldn't allow me to do that. So I put the Chatter Plus thing onto a new contract with Enterprise, but they wouldn't allow me to take standard licenses and degrade them.
That's not good.
No, marketing tricks.
I mean, I understand the chatter free one, but the chatter, for Plus, you should be able to. You're paying for something.
Okay, I'm just kind of looking at again. It's all negotiations. I can't say that to safe harbor, all that stuff, but it's all a matter of negotiations and stuff. But let me see. I can go. I have both these Chatter Plus licenses and then full Enterprise Sales and Service Cloud licenses. I could go from a Sales or Service Cloud down to the Chatter Plus.
To the Chatter Plus.
And then back up. But again, you can't go from Chatter Plus or the regular Salesforce licenses to the free.
Okay, that makes sense.
Looking at my org right now, at least I'm able to go from full license down to a Chatter Plus license.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to jump in on another question? We got like 8 minutes left. Or again, like I said, I'll have Brian sing some NSYNC songs, which we all will just jump off the call, I'm sure.
So he could sing "Bye Bye Bye."
Give me a second to find a YouTube, and sure, I'll sound just like them.
Okay. Steve, you got anything you want to jump in with, say? You want to call it a day?
Me? No. I don't think I have anything to add.
Sorry, this is Marty. I can't remember who the person was with the question about libraries.
Georgi.
And Georgi, I think I'd like to connect with you. I'm not sure what the best way is. We could go back to the MVP group on the Collaboration Cloud if that's where if you could post your question there. I can follow up with you.
And you post the link because I don't know actually how I got here, but I was trying to figure out something, and one of the people posted the link to this registration here.
If you go to the chairperson in the Ready Talk and chat with me, I'll be able to get you that info you need.
I'm not really seeing much on the screen where I can. Oh, chairperson. Okay, I get it.
I'll send you the info there.
Thank you.
All right, cool. I'll look for your post.
All right, thank you so much.
So just don't log off quite yet until I get that to you.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else?
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. You guys are very intelligent and all that good stuff, and I hope to, meet with you guys in future meetings and all that, and just listen in. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Ditto on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Five. You made it.
By the hair of a chinny chin chin. Thanks for driving that. I could have never pulled that off.
No problem, Steve. Have a good weekend.
Right, yeah, you guys did a great job.
A lot of work. Yeah, I almost got that for you. I'm just getting the exact group URL there.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is have you been to success.salesforce.com?
Yes, and we're actually talking about this with success managers as well.
Okay.
We're trying to reach
if you
out
log
to
into
every possible resource.
Yeah, so what Marty was saying, so I'll send it to you here. So log into the success site or just click that link and that I just sent you, and it'll force you to log in. And then that's the MVP office hours kind of chatter group. And so the name again is, I'll put in here, Marty Chang. So if you do @Marty Chang, take away the if you just, mention him in your post, he'll get an email notification, and sounds like he'll follow up with you.
Okay. Okay, I'll try to put it in words that what I'm trying to accomplish, and
when you get into developer stuff, it's understandable. It's hard to just always write it down. So I'm sure Marty's really good. He'll find a way to communicate with you. And
okay.
I'd even be able to take it offline, I'm sure, or something. So.
Excellent. And then Marty Chang. Okay, I'll write that down. Okay, gentlemen, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Take care. Bye, whoever's left. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Please stand by.